What if I told you that one of the most controversial artworks of the past 30 years was simply an unmade bed? Not a painting of a bed, not a sculpture of a bed, but an actual lived-in, stained, and disheveled bed, transported directly from the artist's bedroom to the gallery floor. I'm your host from Art Explained Simply and Quickly, and today we're examining Tracey Emin's revolutionary installation, My Bed, a work that redefined the boundaries between art and life, public and private, and challenged fundamental assumptions about what can constitute art. Created in 1998, My Bed is exactly what its title suggests, Tracey Emin's actual bed. Presented in the state she allegedly left it after spending several days in it during a depressive episode following a relationship breakdown. But this isn't just any unmade bed. It's surrounded by deeply personal debris, used condoms, stained underwear, empty vodka bottles, cigarette butts, pregnancy tests, contraceptives, and crumpled tissues. Nothing is sanitized or aestheticized. It's raw, unfiltered evidence of human existence. To understand why this work matters, we need to place it in context. The late 1990s marked the height of the Young British Artists Movement, or YBAs, a group that included Damien Hirst, Sarah Lucas, and Emin herself. These artists shocked, provoked, and energized the art world with work that was confrontational, often autobiographical, and deliberately challenging to conventional notions of artistic skill and beauty. But Emin pushed this approach further than most. Throughout her career, she has used her own life as both subject and material. Earlier works included Everyone I Have Ever Slept With 1963 to 1995. A tent embroidered with the names of everyone she had shared a bed with, not just sexually. My Bed represents the culmination of this confessional approach, not just telling her story, but presenting the physical evidence of her most private moments. Let's examine what we're actually seeing. The centerpiece is a rumpled double bed with stained sheets and pillows. The blue sheets themselves bear witness to bodily fluids, menstrual blood, sweat, and other stains. The pillows retain the impression of Emin's head. Around the bed is a constellation of personal items, ashtrays overflowing with cigarette butts, Emin was a heavy smoker, empty vodka bottles testifying to self-medication, used tissues, contraceptives, worn underwear, and slippers positioned as if just stepped out of. Each object carries both narrative and symbolic weight. The cigarettes and alcohol speak to coping mechanisms and self-destruction. The contraceptives and pregnancy tests reference sexuality, fertility, and reproductive anxiety. The stained sheets evidence bodily functions typically hidden from public view. Nothing is arranged for aesthetic effect. The installation maintains the chaotic authenticity of the original scene. The significance of My Bed operates on multiple levels. First, it represents a radical extension of the ready-made tradition started by Marcel Duchamp's urinal fountain. While Duchamp selected manufactured objects and designated them as art, Emin presents something more personal and transgressive, not just a found object, but her most intimate space and the traces of her most private activities. Second, it challenges the traditional separation between art and artist. Most artwork maintains some distance between creator and creation, but My Bed collapses this distinction entirely. The work isn't a representation of Emin's life. It is her life, transported directly into the gallery space. This raises profound questions about where art ends and life begins. Third, it confronts gendered expectations about privacy, propriety, and shame. By exhibiting the unfiltered evidence of her bodily functions, sexual activity, and mental health struggles, Emin refuses cultural expectations that women should conceal these aspects of existence. The menstrual stains in particular challenge one of society's most persistent taboos. The feminist dimensions are crucial to understanding the work's impact. Female artists have long struggled to have their perspectives taken seriously in a male-dominated art world. By placing her unmade bed, the site of sleeping sex, illness, and recovery, in a prestigious gallery space, Emin asserts that female experience deserves serious artistic consideration. The mess isn't incidental, but essential. It challenges the association of femininity with cleanliness and order. When My Bed was nominated for the Turner Prize in 1999, it generated enormous controversy. Critics dismissed it as trivial, disgusting, or not art at all. The British tabloids had a field day, with headlines mocking the idea that an unmade bed could be considered art. But this reaction only confirmed the work's power to provoke and challenge assumptions. The philosophical implications run deep. My Bed raises fundamental questions about art itself. What distinguishes art from ordinary objects? Is artistic intent sufficient to transform the mundane into the meaningful? How does context, placing something in a gallery, alter our perception of it? These questions aren't new, but Emin poses them with particular urgency and personal stakes. The technical aspects deserve consideration as well. Installation art presents unique challenges: how to maintain the work's integrity across different exhibition spaces, how to preserve ephemeral materials, how to document something that exists in 3 dimensions and evokes multiple senses. My Bed must be carefully reconstructed for each exhibition with precise attention to the position of each item. Let's consider the art historical lineage. My Bed connects to multiple traditions: the found object, feminist art, autobiographical practice, and installation work. It echoes Rauschenberg's Bed from 1955, a painted quilt mounted on the wall, but pushes much further in its raw presentation. It follows feminist artists like Judy Chicago and Carolee Schneemann, who incorporated female bodily experience into their work. Yet, Emin's contribution remains distinctive in its unfiltered authenticity. The personal narrative behind the work adds emotional depth. Emin has spoken openly about creating it during a period of suicidal depression following a relationship breakdown. She describes spending days in bed drinking, smoking, and barely eating, then experiencing a moment of clarity when she finally got up and saw the chaotic state of her room. The installation preserves that moment of recognition, the physical evidence of her psychological state. The market history reveals shifting attitudes toward conceptual art. When first exhibited, many questioned whether anyone would actually buy such a work. In 2014, it sold at auction for £2.5 million, over $3.7 million, purchased by German businessman Christian Duerkheim, who later loaned it to the Tate Modern, where it's frequently on display. This transition from controversy to institutional acceptance mirrors the trajectory of many once shocking artworks. Reactions to My Bed often reveal more about the viewer than the work itself. Some are disgusted, others move to tears. Some see narcissism, others courage. This range of responses is part of the work's function. It serves as a kind of psychological mirror reflecting our own attitudes toward female bodies, mental illness, and private suffering made public. The cultural impact extends beyond the art world. My Bed became a reference point in discussions about contemporary art featured in television programs, newspaper articles, and even comedy routines. It entered the popular consciousness in a way few conceptual artworks manage, becoming shorthand for both the possibilities and provocations of contemporary art. What's particularly fascinating is how the meaning of My Bed changes over time. Created when Emin was in her mid-30s, it now functions as a kind of time capsule of a specific moment in her life. As she ages, the distance between the artist and this younger self grows, adding layers of poignancy and retrospection to the work. The international reception reveals cultural differences in attitudes toward confessional art. In Britain, My Bed was often treated as provocative spectacle, while in America it was more readily connected to a tradition of confessional art. In Japan and more conservative societies, its explicit nature posed exhibition challenges. These varied responses highlight how art's meaning is never fixed but shaped by cultural context. If you're intrigued by art that challenges conventions and blurs the line between life and creativity, hit that subscribe button right now and join our community of art explorers. Every week on Art Explained Simply and Quickly, we uncover the stories behind transformative artworks from classic to contemporary. What aspects of conceptual and installation art would you like us to explore next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. And tell me, do you think personal objects can function as legitimate art? Your perspective might spark an interesting discussion about the boundaries of artistic expression. If this video helped you appreciate the complexity behind this controversial artwork, give it a thumbs up. It helps more people discover these incredible stories of art history. See you in the next exploration.